Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/get-started. That's greenlight.com/get-started.
Okay, guys, I know you're prone to exaggeration for effect from time to time.
That is not true. That is bullshit. We never exaggerate anything.
What?
I have an enormous cock.
What?
Okay, well, I said it was a good size. It's not. That's not true. That's not true.
What exactly here is the problem here, Noah? What's the problem again?
It's this vendetta you guys have against Christmas. It's getting out of control.
That we do not have a vendetta against Christmas.
Well, no, not Christmas. I mean, I don't trust the elves, but that's not.
Tom, I told you the elves aren't real.
Which is what makes them liars, and I don't trust them.
Okay, again, I'm not sure any of this matters. What are we talking about?
Okay, wait a minute. No vendetta against Christmas. What about your ongoing war against eggnog?
Oh, God!
He said it. He said He said the E word.
Now we have to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very funny. See, so why do you have a sword now?
Wait, do you just, always carry that?
Oh, yeah. I'll take care of Noah, Tom. You go get the burying blankets.
Way ahead of you, Cecil.
Wait, just for saying eggnog?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Noah here. This seems a little exaggerated. I mean, it's just eggnog. Is the word
too.
eggnog?
There we go.
Yep, he's too.
Okay.
Guys, I got my thumbs caught. Oh, what's going on? Did I miss something?
They're going to kill Heath and me for saying eggnog.
That is not normal. But let me ask you this, Noah. Counterpoint. Do you think that you're at least somewhat to blame here in the whole saying the E word?
No, it's just a word. For Christ's sake, it's a fucking beverage.
Okay, but with Noah and Heath gone, I'm in charge of all three of my podcasts. Nope, I'm with Cecil, Noah. Sorry, words matter. You brought this on yourself.
No, I did not.
You had to do it, Cecil.
I know. I just don't understand. That shit is fucking disgusting.
I've never actually had it.
Wait, really? Then why are you always going on about it?
I just like to get mad about things, Make a big fuss. Anyway, I'll bury the bodies. You bleach the carpet.
Just like always.
Just like always.
Just like always, best friends. We're all... Hello, and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet. That's how it works now. I'm Eli, and since no one will let me kill myself just yet, and since my therapist insists I spend no time alone, I'm joined by Tom and Noah, two people who can break both my body and my gentle spirit.
Yeah, I feel like your body wouldn't break so much as bend. You're like a supple willow made of tears.
Well, and look, when you smash shards of glass, they're not ruined. Right? I mean, there's such a thing as pre-broken is what I'm saying. And both of those fit into that category.
You have been reading my poetry. Also joining us tonight are two men whose eyebrows can be woven into an escape rope at a moment's notice. Heath and Cecil.
That is right. We are on flee. Thank you, Eli. That's the expression.
Our eyebrows are so thick between the two of us, we have a monobrows.
So this is now the part of the show where we usually thank our patrons for helping us keep the show running. And we'll get to that, really. But before we do, I think we need to pause for just a moment and thank Patreon itself. As you might recall, last week, Patreon... This is good. Patreon played a hilarious joke on everyone and threatened our livelihoods by attempting to charge you, our patron, exorbitant processing fees per show. in what was obviously not a blatant money grab, but rather a misunderstood, hilarious opening gambit to a prank war. Well, I think we all agree that was pretty funny because I have so many marketable skills at this point in my life. Well, Patreon, I gotta tell you, if you want a prank war, you've got one. Now, I'm not gonna say what I have in mind, but remember, it's all fun and games after someone loses an eye. So consider
it's until
what
the phrase. The phrase is all fun and games until someone loses an eye. That's the saying. You said it wrong.
No, that doesn't make sense. That's just the beginning of the games.
No.
There's not even testicles involved yet. How could you play a game if someone still has
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take over before we get sued again. So just remember, everybody, they fixed all the Patreon nonsense. And if you'd like to become a patron and help us pay our mounting legal fees for Eli's continued insistence that his vision board isn't a crime against humanity, it clearly is, be sure to stick around to the end of the show. For those of you who are already patrons, thank you so much. We very badly need you right now. And with that out of the way, tell us, Cecil, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Not doing it. Nope.
Okay, do you use the eye as like a slippery surface to ease? Sorry, wait, Cecil, not even for your best friend?
Well, Tom didn't ask me, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, that is not what I meant. And you know that, Cecil. You know that, and you still wanted to hurt me. And Dr. Glauber said
that's because we're not best friends. So
don't lash out.
I would
Don't let him lash
argue
out.
we're not even friends. So
Okay. Cecil, not at the beginning of the Patreon prank war. All right. I have already hired 4 little people, and they are very demanding of their time and with their vocabulary. Anyways, I'm going to ask Noah because I can't deal with this right now. So, Noah, that aside, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be discussing today?
Well, today we're going to be talking about the Eggnog Riot.
Thank you, Noah. See, Cecil? Wasn't so hard. And Tom, I'm hoping that you, let's say, at least peruse the Wikipedia article. Are you ready to vomit out some nutmeg-scented knowledge at us?
Distressingly enough, Eli, yes. Yes, I am.
Okay, then. Tell us, Tom, what was the Eggnog Riot?
The Eggnog Riot was like sort of a test run for Prohibition, really, that took place at West Point on Christmas in 1826. Just like the big version of like actual Prohibition, it did not go well.
Okay, well, I think the jury's still out on the success of Prohibition, Tom, but you can tell us your sad little Christmas story anyways.
No.
Actually, it was a huge success.
Very good. See? Huge success. Nailed it. I knew everything about Prohibition. Corrected.
All right, but before I do, I first need to tell you a little bit about West Point, okay, where this all took place. Now, when most people think about West Point, they think of an elite military academy that trains senators' kids to order poor people to die overseas.
Yeah.
And that's true, but West Point wasn't always quite so grand.
Yeah. In 1826, it was like, go run over there and get stabbed with a gun sword so we can eventually climb over your body. Yeah. No, seriously, I majored in this. There's like a whole thing. There's a chalkboard. There's a diagram.
I played Risk like 4 times for this. Go. Yeah, and I just want to say that is vastly different from today's military, I tell you. Vastly.
Yeah.
Vastly different.
No, they have robot gun swords now. Automated.
All right, so in the early 1800s, West Point was basically like a community college, and like it wasn't even a very good community college. It only had 4 departments, and it only had 36 staff members. Basically, anybody could just join West Point, and you could join any time of the year. You could just show up like Thursday in September and be like, yeah, I go here now. So this was not an upper crust institution.
yeah, basically anyone could join, but please note the definition of anyone here doesn't include women or black people.
No,
So
of
that's-
course not.
Yeah.
No.
I see, like the Constitution. I
Yeah,
get it.
exactly.
My buddy Neil Gorsuch told me that.
It's hard to enroll them 3/5 at a time.
Yeah.
That's the challenging part. All right. So West Point, in fact, it had quite a reputation for troublemaking, and particularly troublemaking of the drinking variety, which is also, incidentally, the best variety. So in one bar around West Point, the Benny Haven, it allowed students to barter their blankets and shoes for alcohol.
The entire undergraduate class is just rail riding hobos.
Yeah, right. God, that'd be as careless as Hot Topic offering a discount based on the number of cuts.
Oh, shit. We're losing our shirts. Everything's free here. We're literally losing our shirts. Okay. Another tavern, the North Tavern, which I'm going to presume was north of West Point, was located basically on the property line. It was located there on purpose, specifically to entice the students to drink, which they did. And they drank so much and with such gusto that eventually West Point had to buy the tavern and turn it into a hospital. And I'm going to presume that was to treat alcohol poisoning.
Sounds like the VA used to be pretty well funded. Yeah. They were doing well.
Okay, so Tom, as revelatory as it is that college students like to drink, so far, no riots, not even any eggnog.
Yeah, great. Look, I'm painting a fucking word picture here, you barbarian. Setting a scene.
Oh, I'm sorry, Leo Tolstoy. Oh, I'm sorry, Leo Tolstoy.
Don't keep that one in. Toy Story, did you call me?
Leo Toy Story?
It's Buzz Lightyear. That's what you're looking for.
This story's going to infinity and beyond, bitches.
I have a ripeness of the figs joke that Deborah's going to get. And she's going to be like, ripeness of the figs. That's from War and Peace. And you can be like, damn right it is. I read that book. And everyone's going to be like, he's the smart one. And it's going to be fucking great.
All right, so nobody got that joke. So but it's important that you left it in. That's the important part.
I have a callback. I have a callback to that joke later. I have to get to the second half of it. I refuse to abandon that joke.
What was it? Ripeness of the figs? Ripeness of the what? Explain it one more.
Ripeness of the figs. Ripeness. Now it's all gone. Never mind. It's fine. They mocked Keats too. Tom, go. Go, Tom.
All right, so here we are. There's a scene. We have West Point, right? Not exactly a highbrow institution, surrounded by alcohol and people willing to trade alcohol for their clothes, right? And this is a lovely tradition incidentally that continues every spring break. So we've not given up on this. But I need to also take a moment and tell you about some of the people at West Point that are going to be involved in the riot. One of the chief instigators and the first to actually get in trouble was Jefferson Davis, who you might recall was involved as one of the losers of the South's treasonous attempt to secede.
Actually, I don't recall that because history stops existing when you take down the statues, but go ahead. Will not replace
Okay,
us.
That's true. We got to leave them up. Heritage. So before becoming involved with a cause that would eventually literally define the idea of being on the wrong side of history, Jefferson Davis was a fucking drunk. And he might have been a drunk afterward, but this is the beginning of the drunk. In fact, he was once so drunk that stumbling back to West Point after tying one on, he fell down a 60-foot ravine, crawled back out just to go back to campus.
Jesus.
Then I'm assuming he stumbled into a Waffle House with his friends and had pretty much the same loud conversation about black people you'd hear today in a Waffle House.
Oh, and can I get those hash browns whipped, flogged, and scourged?
Jesus.
That's actually the default when you're south of the
depending on where you're at.
Right? That's
how they were in North Carolina.
Right?
Same pregnant waitress. Just giving you a big old hoping for a 10% tip smile.
West Point had something of a drinking problem, and drinking was part of their Christmas tradition, specifically eggnog. And eggnog in particular was the chosen drink to celebrate little baby Jesus' birth. But the new superintendent of West Point, Sylvanus Thayer, he was trying to clean up the image of West Point, which actually seems like a really low bar ask given the horrible image of West Point at the time. So he did what so many well-intentioned failures have done. He banned alcohol, including banning the Christmas eggnog.
Penn State banned pedophilia. Prohibition never works, guys. Never works.
They eased it out. They did it in
grandfathered a few people.
They did it in phases, yeah.
You can't just let it go. You
can't just do it all at once. Yeah. No, it's not realistic.
Okay. Well, after that pedophilia joke, I'm sure this is going to go well. But before we hear about the rousing success, we're going to take a quick mid-episode break for a little something we like to call apropos of nothing.
Ho, ho, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
We're only a few days away from Christmas. Sugar Plum, give me a status report.
Well, Santa, we've received 3 letters from Peter condemning our use of reindeer, or as they call them, slaves for the sleigh.
How exactly are we handling that?
Well, we've got Rudolph making the regular talk show circuit, telling everyone how the reindeer like their job. We're also giving him regular beatings to keep him on message. You know how that is.
Good, good. How's toy production?
Excellent overall. I mean, we've had a 1,000% increase in production since we switched over to China for the toy manufacturing. There's a significant increase in lead in the toys, but our social media team is blaming that on vaccines.
All right, well, things seem good. Any other problems?
Well, there is a problem with eggnog production.
Jiminy Christmas, we can't have any of that.
Yeah, it's the milkers. They went on strike. They want latex gloves, regular STD testing, and biohazard suits.
This is unacceptable. What about the elves?
No demands. The elves are actually upset that they stopped milking them.
Well, send in the union-busting Yetis and milk some male reindeer to help up production.
But Santa, the color of the eggnog is bright yellow when we use reindeer.
Well, let's call it soy eggnog. We'll send some to PETA.
Hello, podcast listener. Just wanted to take another chance to thank all the patrons who helped make this show go and remind you that as of this recording, we're just $1 away from hitting our goal of doing a citation-needed live show in the city of your choice. But to sweeten the pot, if we hit our goal of $3,000, wherever we do the show, me and my best friend Cecil will share a hotel room. Like we promised.
We will not do that.
So, to get you all psyched up, we prepared a little montage, if you will, of the future to let you know the fun shenanigans you can help monetize.
I cannot believe we hit $3,000.
This is going to be fun. You worry too much.
Stop jumping on the bed, Eli. I told you shouldn't have eaten those Oreos before you went to bed.
This is actually super good exercise. Do you think I'd be in like super good shape if I did this every night? Yeah.
No, not at all.
Cecil, you sure you don't want to wear like just pajamas?
No, this is fine. This is good.
So you like always wear plate mail to bed?
Yep, always.
Seems clanky.
It's fine. It's fine like this.
Okay. Well, if you want to join me in the nude, just let me know. It's just us bros, right?
Your body is an absolute horror.
I get that so much. Like that exact wording. Hey, Cecil.
Eli, it's 4 a.m.
Can I tell you a sleepover secret?
No, you can't. It's 4 a.m.
I arranged for someone.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. You should be in jail for that.
Yeah, probably. So if you want to hear about all that and more, head over to patreon.com/citationpod and help us choose where to bring a live show and what size bed Cecil and I should sleep in.
Honestly, guys, $2,500, that goal is fine. That is fine.
Well, Tom, while our audience wonders what it is I said that we censored it out of our show, I believe you were saying something about how successful the banning of booze would be.
It's about as successful as you might imagine this would be when one of your students falls down a ravine drunk before losing an entire civil war. The students were not going to be denied booze in their nog. So they set about procuring a little for their own private celebration. Getting booze at the local tavern, Benny's Haven, was too expensive. So these 3 students, they set off for the next nearest tavern, which was across the Hudson River, which they crossed.
Hold on. This place was cheaper than the tavern that took blankets and shoes? What? Were they paying with socks and cum? How did they, what's the other place take?
The neat thing about that, Heath, is that you can store both of those things together. Like a sock is like a cum wallet.
Yeah. Less than you think, though. When you get there, you always think you have. It's not as good as you think.
Circus like a come wallet.
Okay, so again, remember, this is 1826. So like crossing the Hudson River, they didn't just like hop in their car and go over the Hudson River, right? They had to set off on horseback, then cross a river on some fucking ye olde ferry just to get to the tavern, just to start buying the booze.
Well, yeah, but I mean, with Jefferson, the spontaneous spelunker involved, like, I'm kind of glad they didn't have cars, you know?
And for contrast, I Postmates myself an $11 Starbucks while I was writing this joke.
So they go to the tavern across the river, right? And they're so pleased with themselves. They reward themselves for their hard work by, getting drunk, as you might imagine. And then they bought 4 gallons of whiskey.
Jeez.
4 gallons. Clearly, these guys are planning a modest celebration. For reference, that's 336 shots of whiskey.
Or as we call it, a QED.
Now, on their way back to West Point, they got caught by a guard, and they bribed the guard 35 cents to look the other way.
It's like, my friend Andrew Jackson told me you were cool. Oh, are you friends with him? Yeah, I'm friends with him. Friends with Andrew Jackson.
All right, so now the whiskey's procured, and it's safely in their dorm rooms, and the stage is now set for these riots, right? So it's Christmas, and Thayer, the superintendent of the house, he wakes up Christmas morning, not to the sound of Santa and his reindeer, but instead at 4 a.m. to the sound of drunk college kids partying just a few floors above him. And like any annoyed dad, he tramps up the stairs and he yells at 5 or 6 drunk kids, just go disperse and go back to the rooms. And he's getting ready to leave, and he hears more drunken idiots in the adjoining room, and I love this fucking part. So he opens the door on the next room, and 2 of the cadets are so drunk that they're trying to hide under a blanket. Or, I mean, that's what the Wikipedia says that they were doing under the blanket.
Yeah.
This is the don't ask, don't tell era. So.
And then a third student put a hat over his face and refused to identify himself. Just like, you can't see me if I can't see you shit, right? And that's when things went south.
Walks in, okay, where's the cookie? I'm in. I want to play too. Point it out.
Later on, the guy's like, well, headmaster, I would tell you who all the students were, but one of them was a master of disguise.
I'm just wondering what kind of half-ass 1826 West Point drunk still has a blanket. Right? We established you could... Yeah. Slacker.
Bill, we could add another gallon of whiskey, Bill.
I get cold.
So Hitchcock, one of the officers, he heard even louder, more raucous shenanigans taking place a few floors away. As he ran down to check, I love this, Jefferson Davis, he's running down. Jefferson Davis bursts into the room and yells pretty much in Hitchcock's face, put away the grog, boys. Captain Hitchcock's coming. Again, he lost the Civil War. Big surprise.
No, you can see it coming here.
See the original, he's standing right behind me, isn't he? Yep.
So Davis was ordered back to his room, and Davis actually went back to his room. This is the decision that would ultimately prevent him from being court-martialed.
The one and only good decision in this guy's life, to be drunk and alone.
See, Heath, maybe you're going to lead an army. You never know. Armies are fun.
Yeah, Heath, you're already a racist. So,
Jesus.
I don't like phone calls.
Not a problem anymore.
Having a great time. Shit. Having a great time. December's the best.
Oh, God. Tom, comedy, go. Roll through. Don't make them sit in the silence. People are driving, Tom.
Speaking of the ripeness of figs, Tom, please go ahead.
So another officer, Thornton, he wasn't having an easy go of breaking shit up either, right? When he attempted to break up the party, he was threatened with a sword and a pistol, and another cadet beat him to the floor with a piece of wood.
He says, please don't stab me with a sword or shoot me with a pistol. And the kid with the wood is like, deal. We can do that for you.
He found that piece of wood was under that blanket. That's what those 2 guys were fighting over.
There were 2 pieces, actually. 2. Weird. So Hitchcock tried to break down a barricaded door, and he was nearly shot for his efforts. Remember, this is around eggnog, and booze in your eggnog. And in fact, he was only saved from being murdered because another drunk cadet bumped into the guy who was trying to shoot him and set the shot firing into the floor. Hitchcock, at this point, he's had enough of this shit, right? and he ran to get help. He asked a sentinel to get the comm here. Now, Hitchcock here was actually referring to the commander, commander, but the candidates thought he was referring to the bomb or bombardiers, who were the regular militiamen stationed at West Point.
Maybe we say out the whole word for explosive stuff. Nerd, it's bomb. What's going to happen?
Yeah,
we'll say
right.
fucking bomb. That was the worst thing that happened.
Very
Everybody will know.
distinct. It's like, no, the safe word is keep going. Ink with a K. Keep going.
I just got to say, these guys are really going psycho on Hitchcock.
Tits.
They're going to throw him through the rear window. The rear window, guys. They're going to hang him with a piece of rope. Rope. That's the name of one of his movies, too. Rope.
All these puns are giving me vertigo.
Birds.
Shit.
Birds, I said.
North by Northwest. Oh, fuck.
The third man. I'm the third
Yeah,
man.
that one's hard to.
That's not Hitchcock. That was.
North by Northwest was going to be a hard one, no matter how you cut it.
So the cadets went fucking apeshit after this, believing that calling in the actual cavalry, and I love this, was an affront to their honor, right? So they did the only honorable thing, and they took up arms drunkenly to defend the barracks while also absolutely demolishing the barracks, right? They smashed all the crockery, the windows, the furniture. They smashed the staircase. So the entire North Barracks was completely destroyed. It had to be rebuilt.
So they were like, the bombers are coming, smash everything, and they'll have nothing to do, and we'll break everything.
Basically treated that place like Iraq.
I just can't get over the reaction. It's like, well, fellas, the real military's here to stop our Christmas party. Ooh, red the blood of angry men.
But I love this story. So I love how it ends. Nobody called the bombardiers, right? So the bombardiers didn't show up, and the cadets basically just wore themselves out, trashing the place so much so that eventually they just sobered themselves up in a frenzy of destruction. Jesus. The arrival of the actual commander that had been summoned, along with the mitigating effects of being hung over on eggnog, put the rest of the riot to bed.
It's always the simple misunderstandings that cause the riots, like Ferguson, you know?
Yeah. I was sure his R2 unit was about to chuck him a lightsaber. And so, it's just, it could have happened to anybody,
You
right?
do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around.
Don't shoot rhymes with shoot. So it's hard to tell.
He said, keep going.
There were so many people, so many students in the school that were involved in the riots that Thayer couldn't even indict them all, or he would lose a third of the class.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
So he instead chose to indict only the worst offenders, which I have to presume included the guys who tried to shoot and stab the officers involved. And in total, 19 cadets were actually expelled from West Point.
So like a quarter of the class.
Right? Like, they're expelled from basically community college. Like, where do you go from there? How do you go back home? Like, I couldn't cut it at community college. I'm just going to kill myself.
Go back to that Waffle House. Here's where you go.
Yeah, right.
Fill out an application.
Now, Jefferson Davis escaped expulsion, as did Robert E. Lee, who also took part in the riot and also in losing the Civil War, if anyone was wondering.
I come from a very successful family. I do. Both of them. Yeah, literally related to Jefferson Davis and Robert E. Lee. True story.
Are you really?
Yeah. And Ulysses S. Grant. So I got I'm 1 and 2.
Damn, your ancestors fuck all over the fucking Mason-Dixon line. They just whatever. Anything that moves.
They were all waitresses at Waffle Houses.
The Eggnog Riots made such a lasting impact on actual West Point. It was significant enough that when they rebuilt West Point. The barracks of West Point were built after the Eggnog Riots in such a way that students could only move through the hallways in single file so as to prevent future riots.
That's what you should do in Ferguson.
Again, riots over eggnog. This is just, it's disgusting.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. So, Tom, tell us, if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Clearly that eggnog is never worth the trouble that it costs.
And are you ready for the quiz?
As an expert on all things nog and grog, Eli, yes, I think that I am at this point.
All right. Tom, which of the following is the best replacement if you run out of eggnog while you're hosting a holiday party and your guests aren't done felching yet? Is it A, test tube babies?
That's a good one. Yeah. It's nice because they come in the shot glass. The test tube is
it's
done,
convenient. You're ready to go. You send out a little cocktail waitress, pass them around. Yeah.
Right.
Is it
They're
B?
lit up like little glow sticks in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very festive. Is it B? Pus from a lesion.
Also good.
Is it C? Leftover Limp Bizkit milkshakes? Or is it D? Quit smoking, take a nap, wake up, and cough?
Oh, God.
Test tube babies. It's got to be test tube babies.
It
Harder
is
to get
test
in
tube
bulk,
babies.
though. Yeah.
Not as hard as you think. I have a guy. We'll
It's
talk later.
distressing that you have this information.
I'm the guy.
America is known for its food festivals like the Eggnog Riot, which is the largest attended food festival in the United States. A, Louis C.K.'s Jerk Chicken Handoff. B, the Republican National Vice-Versed Gobbling Convention. C, the National Rifle Association Weekly Fish in a Barrel Shoot. Or D, the Charlottesville White Cracker Jamboree.
Oh, it's the White Cracker Jamboree. I love it there.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, Tom. While hatred for eggnog is nearly universal, there are many who are ignorant of its origins. How was eggnog invented? A, King Richard insisted his staff drink alcoholic pancake batter to fortify them. Was it B, Rocky Balboa was looking for an upper and a downer? C, a hasty explanation was needed for a spit and drink bukkake that got walked in on.
Oh, fuck.
Or was it D, all food was gross before 1992. Eggnog is just one of the many dishes Noah's generation invented before salt and sugar were no longer rationed for the Great War.
I'm going to go with D because there's a shot at Noah who was not here last week. So I feel like he missed out.
You were right, apparently.
Eli, was it
That's
D?
D.
Yeah, there you go.
D is the D.
All right, good. Yeah.
So, kind of feels like everybody's shitting on eggnog, but let's be fair here. This was not an eggnog caused riot, right? Like, of all the variables we could have removed to ameliorate the situation, eggnog is nowhere on the list. So it seems like whoever named this thing was kind of missing the point. So with that in mind, which of the following is not a historical headline written by the same guy who named the Eggnog Riot? Is it A, iceberg irrevocably scarred by Titanic's hull? B, cars discovered to be #1 cause of traffic fatalities.
It's trees, actually.
It's true, yeah, right. C, Kennedy's upholstery ruined during Dallas Parade. Or was it D, Tom Petty Welsh's On Promise 2018 studio album?
Jesus. Yeah, fuck you, Tom Petty. It's D.
It is D. It is D because he died before the writer, the headline writer. He was alive in 1826. He couldn't be around now. Wouldn't make any sense.
All right. Well, Tom, nobody stumped you this week, so you'll take over as host next week. Plus, you get to decide who has to do all the work next week.
Well, since he seems to be trying to let eggnog off the hook, is gross and unnecessary, I'm going to go with Noah.
It's a delightful, festive holiday beverage.
You're wrong. You eat nothing but cigarette ashes.
Now he's going to eat cigarette ashes and drink eggnog because the only thing he loves more than cigarettes is hatred. 1 second, I need a sip. All right, I'm ready to record after I've had this Mookie Smilf beverage. So now, with that image fresh in everyone's mind, I'll toss it over to Sarah for last week's Twitter answer and this week's Twitter question.
Thanks, Eli. Last week's question was, think of a better slogan than Remember the Alamo. The winner was Trump Drinks Pee on Twitter with this answer. Remember, walls don't stop Mexicans. Thanks to everyone for submitting answers. This week's question is, What banned substance would actually be worth rioting for? Just retweet or Facebook share this episode with your answer for a chance to be next week's winner. Back to you, Eli.
All right. Well, for Tom, Cecil, Noah, and Heath, I'm Eli. Thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Noah will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you should be reading my blog. But if you don't do that, and the numbers show that you do not do that, you can check out our other shows over at The Scathing Atheist, God Awful Movies, and The Skepticat. And if you want more of Tom and Cecil, listen in at Cognitive Dissonance. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, and you should, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod, or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com. And remember, the key is to let the eggnog hit the back of your throat and swallow right away.
And look up. Look up. That's key, too.
Hey, Cecil?
No.
You want to be the big spoon?
Are we at $3,000 yet?
Yep.
It's still a hard no.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/get-started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get-started.